Today's session is about the progressive conditionals. For those of you who still don't know what conditionals are, I request every one of you to watch my previous video describing about the different kinds of conditionals and why are conditionals used. Conditionals are used to express sentences that involve a condition. So let's see when do we use the progressive conditional. And the progressive conditional can also be termed as a continuous conditional. The continuous tense of a verb is formed by adding the ing to the main verb, which means if the verb is read, then the continuous form of the verb would be reading, and it can be also termed as the present participle. Using the present participle form of the verb, we form the continuous conditional tense.
If the weather was fine, I would be cycling outside. Affirmative progressive conditional.
If the weather was fine, I would be cycling outside. Let us try and decipher the format of the sentence. We've got the if clause that comes in the beginning part of the sentence, which is if plus the weather was fine. Now was fine is in the simple past. And if you take a look at the second part of the sentence, it is I would be cycling outside. The second part of the sentence has got the verb would plus be plus the verb cycling, which is cycle plus ing. Now this particular sentence is termed to be in the affirmative form. It is affirmative because the person is agreeing to the statement, which means if the weather was fine, then she would have gone for cycling, which is a positive statement. This particular sentence is said to be in the affirmative progressive conditional form.
I would be walking in my garden if the weather was fine. Affirmative progressive conditional.
I would be walking in the garden if the weather was fine. Now this sentence has also got a positive tone, and therefore it is termed to be in the affirmative state, even though the places are changed, which means the if clause comes towards the second part of the sentence still remains in the progressive conditional.
Even if the weather was fine, wouldn't you be sleeping all day? Interrogative progressive conditional.
Even if the weather was fine, wouldn't you be sleeping all day? Now here, this is in the progressive conditional form, and this sentence has got an interrogative tone. It is an example of an interrogative progressive conditional sentence.
I wouldn't be sleeping all day if I had a cycle. Negative progressive conditional. You can borrow my cycle next time.
I wouldn't be sleeping all day if I had a cycle. Now here in this sentence, we have just found that this sentence has got a tone of negation. I wouldn't, it is would not. So this sentence is an example of a negative progressive conditional sentence. All the different states that I've just discussed earlier, which are the affirmative, interrogative, negative, etc., all these states can also be formed with the zero conditional, the first conditional, the second conditional, and the third conditional as well. I request everyone again to just take a look at my previous video for better understanding.